Welcome to another episode of Browser, Albany Public Library's show featuring the library's digital book and audiobook resources. This is a very special episode in that, well, I don't really feature any of the library's digital books or audiobooks, but I wanted to bring on local author Katisha Burt, who wrote her first children's book last year. It's a beautiful story about an aunt and her adoring niece called Every Other Weekend. It's available online and coming soon to a library near you. We talk about the inspiration for that book, what she's been up to since, other children's book authors she loves, and finally I ask her about exclamation marks, because I like to ask strange questions. But before we get to Katisha, this is for all of our dedicated e-readers out there. Instead of giving you a book recommendation, I'll tell you what I'll be reading next, which is Kevin Nguyen's brand new debut novel, New Waves, available as an ebook and audiobook on Overdrive. I'll check in with you next week to let you know how it's going. In the meantime, though, enjoy my chat with the wonderful Katisha Burt. So thanks for coming on, Katisha. I really appreciate it.
This is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to see you. For those who wouldn't know for any reason, I see you on a fairly regular basis down at the Howe branch of the library, and
Absolutely. I miss seeing you there, though.
I know, I feel you.
Seeing you here, but I like seeing you there.
Yeah, we'll be back to it soon.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So anyway, I wanted to start off just by talking about your children's book, Every Other Weekend. I read it to my daughter this morning, and she's only 6 months old, so she's not getting a lot of the.
The visuals are good.
That's right. It's very brightly colored. It's very good for kids her age, actually. And it is a story about a little girl spending time with her aunt. And I noticed how just kind of simple and small the things that they do together are. They're sharing lollipops together. They're doing puzzles. They're just kind of taking these small moments. And it made me realize how this little girl just cherishes and adores her aunt, and it made me realize how important those kind of small moments are in building these trusting relationships. And
Absolutely.
yeah, they're no grand gestures or anything. It's just time spent.
Absolutely.
Did you have an aunt who played this role for you? What was the inspiration for this?
Well, actually, the book is dedicated to an aunt of mine. She's no longer here, but it's dedicated to her. And it's almost as if I was putting myself in a place where if I would imagine what our relationship would have been like if we would have done those things, So it's kind of a story, kind of romanticizing what it would have been like to have done those things with my aunt if she was still here.
Wow, that's very sweet. Yeah. Do you have any? I have to ask. Do you have any nieces or anything that you kind of play that role?
1, 2, 3. I have 4 nieces. They are in Albany, and actually, they've read my book as well. So
That's awesome.
I would have dedicated it to them as well, but I will. I have plenty of books more inside to write about them as well.
Yeah.
And we've done some of those things that I've written in the book. So it's almost as if, since I didn't get a chance to do it with my aunt that's no longer here, who I dedicated the book to, I can still kind of personify that experience with my nieces that I have here now.
This is your first children's book, right?
This is my very first children's book, Luke. Yes.
What made you want to write a children's book? I mean, aside from your aunt, of course.
Because I've already touched on, I've done poetry, I've done adult fiction and adult nonfiction. So I just wanted to step into another genre.
I do know, though, this is your first children's book, but you do have another one coming up?
I do, and I just got the illustrations from my illustrator, Nasil Villegas, who you've met briefly before at the library. And we've been communicating during this time online, and we are working on something great for the people. Hopefully we can share that this summer.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it's about? What does it focus on?
It's called My Fresh Cut, like my fresh haircut.
Yep.
It's a book about little boys and their experiences getting haircuts.
That's awesome. It's all
At barbershops and things like that. Yeah.
That's great. We're looking forward to that. So I do need to ask, since you're coming on this show, I do need to ask, do you have any books you'd like to recommend? Anything you're reading or something you'd like to kind of amplify?
I love this book. It's called The Adventures of Little Margie. It is by an author who I was in a theater group with, and we acted on many stages throughout Albany together. Her name is Nakia Tillman. Me and Nakia, we were in a theater group together with Antoinette Lawson.
Mm-hmm.
You might know her as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Women with Voices. So I'm very active in the community, and I know a lot of people throughout the community, and we're doing a lot of great things in the community because Nakia is from the community. Can I give you a couple more recommendations?
Please give them. Yeah.
There's an author. Her name is Crystal Swain Bates,
Mhm.
and she has amazing children's books. You can look her up on her website, crystalswainbates.com. And she has children's books that are very great.
So I did not prepare you for this, but I do have one. I've been trying out a new segment on the show where I ask you a would you rather question that's book or like language related. Okay.
Okay.
You're up for this?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Okay. So and neither of these options are very, desirable. So you have to choose the best among the worst, basically. Okay. But maybe not too traumatic. Okay. So your first option is you can never use an exclamation mark again in any kind of writing, typing, texting, any books or anything else. Okay. No exclamation marks. Or you have to use an exclamation mark in every other sentence that you write. And so it doesn't matter what it is, every other sentence, either texting or typing, writing emails, handwritten letters, every other sentence.
It's already challenging.
Thank you.
Just the thought of it. Okay.
You coming to terms with the reality of both options?
No more exclamation marks.
I will say this on your behalf.
We have several other punctuation marks, and I don't need that exclamation mark. Who can live in exclamatory all day long? I can.
From your emails, I can attest you are not an over exclamation mark user, and so yeah. Okay, very good. That
was awesome. Wow, it was kind of tough for a moment there.
That was
but then
the
I
idea.
realized. No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, Katisha. I really appreciate the time. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
We'll see you again in the library soon.
Absolutely.